All right, friends, happy Saturday. I'm not going to officially start until 10 o'clock, but I wanted to make sure I started recording. We only got a minute left. And really, Sheri and I both talk pretty fast. We also have a lot to share and say, but really, this would only take like 30, 35 minutes. I kind of have started my quick cooker going. Sheri's going to share a little bit with you about spaghetti squash, which is one thing I've never done. Anybody done spaghetti squash before? Not necessarily in the multi cooker, but just at spaghetti squash. I think the one reason I haven't done it is because it's long and tedious. Like it doesn't take like an hour or 45 minutes in the oven or something. I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't have enough patience for that. It's probably why I haven't been a baker because that's kind of long and drawn out. Mix and wait, and mix and cover and wait. Yeah, I'm better now though. I'm better now. All right, 10 o'clock straight up. So welcome to our little multi-cooker workshop. And so the idea here is we know our multi-cooker is going to be on sale for customers starting January 1st. So starting on Monday. And here's the thing. There is a great little video on Consultants Corner, and I can post it in the org group. I posted it in my personal team group. I'll post it in the org group too. I have uploaded that video into Canva and just kind of personalized it a little bit and put it in my VIP group, just saying, hey, who has this? Because I want to know who has it or a pressure cooker of any kind. Because here's the thing, y'all, we want to get conversations going. We want to get comments going where we can have conversations with people about it. And even if they have the pressure cooker, that's fine because once they see this is a pressure cooker plus 5 other appliances. Okay. And you may or may not have known that, but it's literally pressure cooker, slow cooker, all the things. I mean, there's 6 different things. And that's what this video shows too. So Sheri's actually going to kick us off. She's going to talk about the spaghetti squash. I'm going to talk a little bit about chicken and some other things. We're going to both share other things that we've done with it. And Sheri, I'm going to pass it over to you.
Okay, great. Do I need to do anything or?
No, I don't think so. I'm going to move it
Okay.
to, I think I'm going to move it to speaker view just so the recording will kind of focus in on who's doing the thing. So you're up.
Okay. Hi, folks. Good morning. I am going to kick us off by showing you how to make spaghetti squash in the multi-cooker. So one of the things the multi-cooker is very good at is cooking things quickly. And Christy's absolutely right. If you were to make a spaghetti squash in the oven, I mean, depending on the size of the squash, it could take a good 45 minutes to an hour of baking. Where in the multi-cooker, it takes 7 minutes. For those of you that don't know, I've taken a spaghetti squash here and cut it in half. This is what it looks like. I've scraped out the guts. The guts are kind of like pumpkin, like little seeds. Here, I'll show you. These are what the guts look like. Anyway, you scrape those out. And so what happens when this cooks, when you take a fork and scrape it, little pieces of squash come out that are cooked and they're like little spaghetti strands. And so for those of you that are trying to cut back on carbs, you can take those little spaghetti strands of squash and you can put spaghetti sauce on top or meatballs. I like to just put a little olive oil and garlic on it. It does not taste like spaghetti, so you're not going to have a spaghetti, but it tastes good. In my opinion, it tastes good. So here we are at the multi-cooker. I hope everybody can see. I am going to put these both in face up. And let me pull you in here a little bit. And one thing with our multi-cooker or any pressure cooker, it cooks with, you need a liquid environment. So this calls for 1 cup of water. So I'm just going to put a cup of water in there. And here, let me do this real quick so you can see. So I've gotten, there's a seed in there, and that's okay, but I'll just go ahead and remove it. But that's what it looks like in the multi-cooker. And I'll go ahead and hold the phone here so you can see. There's all these different settings, as Christy mentioned. you've got all different uses for this, including making yogurt, sterilizing, sous vide, slow cooking, all the things. But I'm going to just do this on custom because I just need 7 minutes, y'all. Instead of an hour or so in the oven, we're going to just do this for 7 minutes. So I'm clicking in custom. Now I'm going to click in the amount of minutes. We're just going to go down to 7. I'm going to click that in. I want it on full pressure. I don't want a delay. And the keep warm setting is fine. And then I'm going to just mash it here for a quick minute. And hopefully you can see it says, whoops, you know what? I forgot to put the lid on. How funny is that? Hold, please. Let me
I
go
will say while
ahead.
she's doing that, and we can see it really well, Sheri, just to let
Okay.
just for your information, put in the chat if you have the multi-cooker, if you've ordered the multi-cooker, if you have a instant pot or pressure cooker of any kind, or if you don't have anything, just so we kind of know where you're coming from, please.
So the lid is on. So we're going to do this again. I've got it on custom. I'm going to select custom, go down to 7 minutes. Click that in. Full pressure, no delay, keep warm, and keep it mashed. And then you'll notice it says run. So what's happening right now is it is coming up to pressure. So
Did you move it down to 7 minutes?
Yeah, it's on 7
Okay.
minutes. And now it's on run, and this little dial right here is showing me that it's preheating, okay? So one thing I do want to share with you, because I have had a customer, I don't want to say complain, but felt misled, that it does take a few minutes to come up to pressure. So when I was doing my lives and so forth about it, I was saying, oh, it only takes 7 minutes, or, oh, it only takes, 5 minutes to make eggs or whatnot. Well, he got his pressure cooker, and then he was counting this preheat time, which can take 5 or 6 minutes. And he's like, it didn't take just 7 minutes. It took like 15 minutes. I'm like, okay, it's still less than, an hour in the oven. So just keep in mind that there is a period of time where this whole mechanism is coming up to pressure. It's creating the environment inside this pot that's going to cook that spaghetti squash. So it doesn't just turn on and it's pressure cooking. It takes a little bit of time. So you can kind of see my dial on preheat is moving along here. And pretty soon the whole dial will be illuminated. And then it'll say, Christy, what does it say when it starts cooking?
It just has the number. Like once
Yeah.
it goes going, it'll start like you can see mine. I don't know if y'all can see that far. Well, you finish up and then, yeah. So the number will be on there and then it'll be a countdown.
Right. It'll say 7 because it'll be the 7 minutes, and then it'll say 6, 5, 4. And then it's actually cooking at that point. But what we're going to do is break from here because there's no sense in us sitting here just watching this come up to pressure. And I'm going to turn you back over to Christy, and she's going to show you, is it frozen chicken, Christy? Yeah. And she's going to show you that, and then we'll come back and see what this looks like when it's done.
Okay. And then you want to mute Sheri, and then sometimes this speaker view, hopefully the recording works well where the person, like right now, right now it's not showing mine full. So let me try something because I just want y'all to be able to see. Okay. Hopefully y'all can see this. It shows 5 minutes on my side. It might be a little fuzzy, but it shows 5 minutes. But here's the thing. If you ever shop at Costco, this is how chicken comes. And this is how it sounds when it's hard as a rock. Now this I took out of the freezer about 7:30, but it's pretty much been in my refrigerator until just now. But hard as a rock chicken. I cannot even fold this at all. I took my scissors and literally had to cut through. And that's what I put in here. So here's a story that you might create if you're going live. Oh my gosh. Has anybody ever, it's 4 o'clock and you're like, crap, all of my stuff is frozen. I forgot to think about dinner at breakfast time or yesterday, right? And so the multi-cooker is great because you can put frozen chicken, which I did, into the multi-cooker. I added a cup of water. And here's the thing, with the multi-cooker with chicken, I can add a cup of water, but I'm going to get more like a cup and a half or even 2 cups of broth when this is done because that chicken's going to cook up. And flavor that water that I added, but also just have the juice from the chicken. Now, 9 to 12 minutes after your preheat time. And I always like to say, just like if you were going to turn something in on, put something in the oven, you have that frozen pizza, you're going to put it on in the oven, and it's 19 minutes to cook. Well, it's really 19 minutes to cook after that 5 minutes of preheating, right? And that's what a pressure cooker does because the pressure cooker is really heating with high heat that's built from pressure. The pressure is built from the liquid. So you always have to have liquid in your pressure cooker. Now, what's great about our multi-cooker is it comes with this fun little cookbook. And not only are there great recipes in this cookbook, but y'all, it has like a little, it's like a little instruction manual too. Talks about all of the presets right here. This is not just a pressure cooker like you might have if you have another brand. This is also a slow cooker. Pressure cooker, slow cooker. It's a sous vide. It's a sterilizer. It's a yogurt maker. There's something else I can't think. But anyway, all of the information of how you can use it, even which cooking method to use, it tells you with depending on what your result that you're looking for. All kinds of recipes, but then the other thing is I love the charts. This is the pressure cooking chart. So what I did this morning, because it's been a minute since I've done frozen chicken, but like for instance, the chicken, it'll tell you if it's breast with bone in or boneless. It'll tell you if it's legs bone in or thighs bone in or boneless. And it'll tell you about approximate weight, if it's fresh or thawed, or if it's frozen. And the crazy thing is, fresh or thawed on boneless chicken breast is 6 to 10 minutes. Frozen is 8 to 12. So it's really only a few more minutes from frozen, y'all. So I tell you what, when my boys were little, I think, oh my gosh, so many of these appliances would have been such lifesavers. There would be times that I'm kind of like, oh my gosh, we don't have a frozen pizza to stick in, or we don't have chicken nuggets. Everybody put your shoes on. We're going through McDonald's, right? Whereas because things were frozen, Paul was traveling, and we're just going to go through the dollar menu. But even with that, with 4 boys, a dollar menu times 3 each. And back then, still was like 15 or $16. And now that's more like 40 because there's really not a dollar menu anymore, right? So all kinds of things. There's also a chart for obviously there's the grains and the rice, the beans, the vegetables, because you can do so many under pressure cooker. But then there's also a chart for the sous vide. Now, honest to goodness, I didn't even really know what sous vide was when this was first introduced. And I've used sous vide a couple times with this. Those that know me know I'm not very patient. It's definitely one of those things you have to think about ahead of time because it takes a long time. Now, when you do plan for it, it is delicious, delicious. But again, it's not one of those everything's frozen, let's eat in 30 minutes. It's a longer process just in and of itself. But anyway, just know that when you get the Pampered Chef multi-cooker, you're going to get this. You're going to get the instruction booklet too, but this is a gem. Lots of great recipes and the charts are amazing. So what I did, this is going to be on Keep Warm too. Okay, perfect timing, y'all. So I put this in about 12 minutes till 9 or till 10. So basically 24 minutes ago, actually I probably started it closer to, yeah, about 22 minutes ago, I started this. So just to give you the idea, 22 minutes ago, I started this and I put it for 12 minutes, right? And it took then about 12 minutes or 10 minutes to preheat. Now, here's something else to know about the preheating process. What did I put in here? I had frozen, hard as a rock frozen chicken breasts and water, right? So it's cooler. So it's going to take a little longer to get it heated up. Okay. Now, there is a sear feature on here because there's a great recipe called chicken parm pasta that you can find on the Pampered Chef website, and it is delicious. And that doesn't take much at all to come under pressure because the first thing you're doing is you're cutting up chicken into small pieces. You're going on the sear feature and you're browning up. You're kind of getting that chicken cooked a little bit. and that's kind of heating up this. So that only takes about 5 minutes to come under pressure because we've already got some heat going, right? Instead of hot. So or instead of cold or frozen. So that's probably why it took 20 minutes. But here's the thing. I'm gonna move my flowers so they don't get. You can see it say, oh, I don't know if y'all can see that, but right here where Sheri was talking about her little wheel, it was saying preheat, on hers, and then it says run when it's actually cooking with a timer with a time on it. Now you can see there's a number here, but that's telling me how long it's been keeping warm. So you're not really overcooking because it stops the cooking part once it hits the number, and it starts what they call a natural release. I don't know if y'all can see, but that little red pressure indicator, can y'all see that? You think you can, but that red pressure indicator tells you it's under pressure and it's very hot. Now, those of you that have Instant Pots, let me just tell you, I know from experience not having an Instant Pot, all my friends that tell me these are great for pushing the button to release the steam on an Instant Pot because it's right there where the hot steam comes out. And you don't want your fingers near that hot steam. I've had friends tell me how they've had burns. They don't have fingerprints on the pointer finger or whatever because it's come off. So what I'm going to do here, you can tell it's been warming now for 2 minutes. I'm going to hit the X, and then right down here is my steam release button, and then exit, and hopefully it'll release. I've had this happen to me twice, 2 other times, and any ideas how to get my pressure to release? Oh, there we go. Okay. Telling me to be patient, and I'm not very patient. Okay, not saying that it's releasing, but it's just sputtering. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about going live when things don't work. Obviously, this isn't live, and we're all among friends, right? But in this case, I mean, this is kind of weird because I'm noticing that now that I'm looking at this, it's not even like my lid's all the way on. But I know it's still under pressure, so I'm not sure why it's not releasing. Anybody have this happen before? I've never, and I use this all the time. I've used this twice this week. I made mac and cheese twice.
Hey, Christy, could
Yeah.
it have naturally released?
I don't think in 2 minutes. And the thing is, the button's still hard as a rock up here. Like it's not. I have had that happen before where I haven't had to release. But what's weird. Okay, so if you happen to be going live and this happens, you just say, Pampered, not perfect. Let me figure this out and I'll get back to you, right? So what we might do here is I might turn it back over to Sheri because she was going to talk about when we were talking about this, she was talking about all the different things that she does in it. I told you about the recipe book, and I know she Googled a lot of things too because she can't even find her recipe book, right? But I Google a lot, and there is a mac and cheese recipe that I have found that my family loves. I think part of the key to being so wonderful is I grate mac and cheese, right? Because I never buy mac cheese, but it's one that I literally said pressure cooker mac and cheese recipe, and it popped up, and it's delicious and it's easy. So Sheri, I'm gonna put this back
Sure.
over to you. I'm gonna
Sure,
unpin myself here, and
no worries.
you're back up on my screen. So I'll figure this
Sure.
out, and then we'll pop back.
No worries. One thing I wanted to share with you, my husband is off screen drinking coffee at the kitchen table, and he just spouted off to me, be sure and tell him about the yogurt feature. So if you're a yogurt eater, my husband actually made yogurt in here a couple of times. It's Greek yogurt. I think you need to have a starter. So you're going to go to the store and buy Greek yogurt to get it started. And then, but the yogurt it made was so creamy and delicious. Like it was better than any store yogurt we've ever had. In fact, I was just thinking we need to do that again. So it really, I wanted to try all the features just to see, and I can highly attest to the yogurt feature on here. And Christy, I'm not sure if this is the 6th feature or not, but it really does great with rice. So Christy, I know, makes rice in hers a lot. I use my rice cooker in the microwave, but I'm going to try rice. because Christy was going, oh my God, if you've never had rice in the pressure cooker, you don't know what you're missing. So rice is another feature that you can do in here, but I did want to show you, can you guys see the pressure cooker real quick, or should I pull it up closer? I can pull it up closer.
We can see it. It's just kind of fuzzy.
Yeah, let me get in a tighter shot here.
Yeah, we can see it.
Okay, so what I wanted to show you is it's already all the way preheated, and now it's on cook. You can see down here where it says cook, there's 1 minute left. So that didn't take that long. I mean, it probably took 5 minutes to come up to pressure, and then it quickly counted down 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and we're on the last minute, and then it'll be done. And at that point, what Christy was attempting to do was to hit this button. This is the steam release, or the pressure release, I should say. And for some reason, some probably little glitch or whatever, it's not releasing, but I can show you that as well here in the next minute. You press that, and what Christy was pointing out, which is an excellent feature, is that most Instant Pots or pressure cookers, you're going to release up here, and this is where the steam comes out. And so your hand, I don't know if you guys can hear that, but it's telling us that it's completely done. But usually the release is up there. You can actually release it this way too. And then you're dancing around with your hand because it's all the hot steam's coming out. But what Pampered Chef did, and as far as I know, it's the only pressure cooker that does this, is it has the steam release down here. So I'm not playing Russian roulette with my hands up here in the hot steam. So normally what you can do at this point is you can let it sit for a while, and it'll come up to pressure naturally, or it'll release pressure, I should say, naturally. You can do that. It's keeping warm. It's fine to do that. But in the interest of time here, I'm going to go ahead and press this and show you what it looks like when it's releasing the pressure. So I just make sure it's not right under my cabinets. So here we go. Oh, don't tell me mine's not going to work.
I usually have to just hold, I usually just push and hold mine. Did you exit it out first to stop it from warming? I usually stop mine and then do it, but I don't
Oh,
know.
you mean, let me just,
No, not at the top. Oh,
no, I'm just making sure my little button is still up there. That's so crazy. Okay, so you usually X yours out first?
they usually do. I don't know if that's right. I just always
I
stop it
always
and then I
just hit
push.
the button.
Oh, this is crazy. If not, what I ended up doing is I took my scraper and I got kind of just lifted this up, and it was, but I've never had to do that before, y'all. I've never had to do that before.
I've never had this. That's so weird. Is it like low pressure out today or something? All right, I'm going to do your X. Okay, so now it's over. It's acting like it wants to restart. It's ready for me to set it again.
That is so weird. Okay, so y'all, I'm going to be doing boiled eggs here after we get done, and I'm going to video the steam release. This, be careful. Grab a scraper, Sheri.
Yeah. I mean, it's wanting to release. Look.
Yeah, yeah. This is weird that the both of them have happened.
Oh wait, there we go.
There we go. It must be something in the air because you're like 20 minutes from me.
Yeah. So that it's just showed that it released. I don't know if you could hear that, but it released, and I will show you the little red button is down now, and it says release, and so now I can actually open the lid, and I need both hands, so I'm going to put you guys back up here.
Yeah, go ahead and show us the spaghetti, and then I'll do my chicken.
Okay, perfect.
I'm excited to get a spaghetti squash. I might have to do
Yeah,
that.
it's super cool. I'm gonna grab a fork real quick so I can.
Because the funny thing here is, you know, like obviously I have some chicken. You could season up some chicken with some garlic and stuff. Even put a little bit marinara sauce. Take her spaghetti squash and my chicken, and there's a meal, right?
So here's the lid. Can you guys see this?
Yep, yep, it looks good.
So, whoop,
Do you have a bowl or something? Oh, is it hot?
it's very hot. Um, but I just wanted to scratch it a little bit to show you. So here's the squash. And do you see how it's kind of turning into spaghetti?
I love it. Put in the
You just
chat if
take
you
them.
do spaghetti squash often, if you've done it in the oven or if you've done it in your pressure cooker. But that looks amazing in like literally 10 minutes.
Yep. And so now you
That's
just,
quicker than boiling spaghetti.
yeah. And now I'm just going to go around the sides and scrape it all out. And then I'm being very gentle, but normally I would just be going hog
Did
wild.
you use the scooping scoop loop for that? You
Oh,
probably
that
use the
might be,
scoop loop to take the seeds out, but I didn't know
if that
that
would
would work.
work.
I don't know.
Well, I'm not sure where it came from my little
That's okay.
drawer here, but I just usually use a fork.
Yeah, that's great.
And I'm just, yeah, it just comes right out. I'm being all fumble fingers now, but
Well, it's hot too, I'm sure.
right. But it
Okay.
comes right out. And literally, y'all, that it doesn't have a lot of taste. Okay. And that might sound bad, but it's really good because you can make it taste like whatever you want. So sometimes we put a little olive oil and Italian seasoning on it, delicious. Other times you can just put spaghetti sauce on top with meatballs, and it gives you something else to eat with your meatballs that's not necessarily spaghetti. You can just put it in anything really, and it will take on the flavor of whatever you put it in.
I love it.
That's what's so good about it. And I mean, it does have a little bit of a squash flavor to it, and we just love it. And it's really super healthy. I think it's probably keto and all that stuff.
Love it.
So yeah, I don't know if you can tell, but just the more
Yeah.
I do this,
Okay, well, let me go over and show the this chicken that I did that I finally got done. And I think Sherry had hers kind of under her cabinet, so I don't know that she was able to do the feature, but I love that I can take the lid and just sit it right here on the pressure cooker. So then I don't have water on my counter or things like that. And one of the things that Sherry mentioned too, before she did release her steam, she kind of pulled it out from her cabinets. And we did rice all the quite often. And sometimes if I have multiple things going on, I have this in a different spot. And I do make sure that that steam releases away. You don't want it shooting up underneath your cabinets, okay? So I didn't even season this up yet. Now I will say, okay, look, this is a good thing to say too. These chicken breasts were stuck together and they're not even quite all the way done yet. So here's the thing. I'm gonna just take it now that they're separated, but y'all can see that part looks done, but the inside's not because they were stuck together. Now, I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna show you this Marissa, because I wanna show you just the amount of broth that's in here. Can y'all see? You probably can't because it's going back, but do you see that? And this is not gonna take very long, but I'm just gonna go, I'm gonna put it back on. Sometimes because it's hot, it's gonna take a minute just to go back to locking. And then I'm gonna just take it and I'm gonna go down to, okay, let me go back. I'm gonna go back to poultry and I'm just gonna go like 4 minutes. And Sherry mentioned the natural release. And the nice thing is you're not gonna burn things. But what I've learned is that some recipes want you to natural release, and some of them want you to like press the release right away, right? If it's like a minute or two off, I don't think that's going to be a big deal. But let's talk boiled eggs because that's the one thing we wanted to mention to you as well. I do 18 boiled eggs at a time because, first of all, instead of going by when I'm a little hungry and grabbing a cookie, this is much better into the holidays because I walked by and got lots of cookies lately instead of like a source of protein that will fill me up a little longer, right? I always just take and put boiled across that. I like to use this basket. The basket set comes with a set of two, so you could have like broccoli or like chicken in the big one or shrimp in the big one and like maybe some broccoli or asparagus or green beans in the top one, and you can kind of have two things cooking at once. I like to do this. So once my chicken is done, I actually do have two inner pots too. You can get an inner pot as a replacement piece. This is kind of nice sometimes, especially when you want to have a couple of different things. You don't have to wait for it to cool and wash it up, and you can get another one. But I put a cup of water in here, a little salt. I put it on the egg. For some reason, I do not know why, but the cookbook calls for 12 minutes for eggs. No, 5 minutes. Egg, 5 minutes. And here's the trick for perfect eggs that you can literally peel with one hand. 5 minutes of cook time, 5 minutes of natural release, 5 minutes of ice water bath. So I'll get my large stainless steel bowl. I'll put ice water up here. So once it's natural released, I'll get it out. I usually just take my little microwave grip, grab this, and I usually do kind of pour my eggs into the bowl so they're all submersed. And literally, like in 5 minutes after that bath, you can peel those eggs with one hand, and it's amazing. So, any questions, any comments? Because I mentioned our catalog, page 36 is where this is. And even if you don't have this machine, you can take even some of the ideas that we talked about today and just say, oh my gosh, you guys, did you know Pampered Chef has a pressure cooker? But it's not just a pressure cooker. It's also a rice cooker, a sterilizer, a yogurt maker, a slow cooker, a sous vide machine. It is 6 appliances in one. And what I'm excited about when I get mine, like you can even just say that. I'm excited to be able to take frozen chicken breasts and stick it in there. And if I'm wanting to hide the carbs and I want to still have like a spaghetti type of dish, I can do a spaghetti squash. And it doesn't take an hour in the oven. It only takes about 7 minutes plus about 5 minutes to preheat. So you can talk about that, and here's what we used back in the old days at cooking parties. We didn't bring every single product we have, but we were taught about creating and sharing pictures, like pictures with words, right? You're creating that picture. This doesn't even show spaghetti squash or chicken. In fact, this is show, I don't even know what it is. This is like a sous vide thing or whatever. But I'm hopefully y'all could like see the spaghetti squash and see the, or rice. Oh my gosh, I can get rice done. And I make 4 cups of rice at a time. My 21-year-old loves to take, even when he was in high school, I would grill up a whole package of chicken. I'd make like 4 cups of rice, and he would literally take some rice and chicken to high school. And now he just does it to his day job, right? So I probably should get one of these for him because he's going to be moving out in April. So, and his birthday's in May. Oh, you guys, this boy has been making rice in this since he was in high school, right? Because he likes rice that much and it's so easy. But anyway, sorry, that was just like the thought that just popped in my head. I'm totally getting it for his birthday. And I'm going to get it now because it's going to be a good deal. What questions do you have? I'm going to take this off of, I'm going to put us back on gallery view. We all need to smile and take a picture. Let's do that. Let's smile. If you can come off, or just put your camera on just for a picture, that would be fun. Right? I smile. Or Amy's got a cute picture on her, so we can see her face. Okay. Yay. All right. What questions do y'all have? Was this helpful? And Brenda, I see Brenda now. Brenda, I can play with her, but she has it in the box. She's probably had it for years. She probably got it in her director box and still have. So Brenda, girl, I'm going to keep you accountable. You need to pull that out. Even though Sheri and I neither one could get our release to work today, which is so crazy, y'all. Again, I do boiled eggs once a week. I mean, and I do rice once a week. I did mac and cheese like twice over the holidays. Never had this issue. So it's kind of bizarre that we both did. I think there is something in the air, in the Kansas City air. Hopefully it's good for football tomorrow.
Mine released, but not like normally you get a
Yeah.
huge volcano of steam that comes out. Mine kind of did a wimpy release. But I just
Right.
wanted to show you, this is one half of the spaghetti squash. One half. I've only done one
Wow.
half, and it's that much. And there's actually a few more spaghettis in here I can scrape out. But this is pretty good size, medium sized bowl. So one
That's
spaghetti squash
definitely
will
a
get
good
you a lot.
serving. That's a good
Yeah. Oh
serving for
yeah.
maybe
I
like
mean,
one of my boys. Yeah, that's good. That would be a good thing too. Like I'm at that point where even though there's still two boys that live here, most of the time it's just me and Paul for dinner because if one's working or if one's meeting friends or what,
yeah.
um, so I don't know if anybody else is in that. I'm looking around, like there are some of you on this that are just like there's just a couple of you
We're
now. Like,
we're in the same boat. Yep.
I'm kind of in that transition because it's like hard to know
Yeah.
how
I don't
much to
even
cook.
ask anymore. Yeah.
I know. I just cook and then I tell Zach, hey, there's some leftovers.
Yeah.
Michelle, you have a question?
I do. Um, I do have a pressure cooker, but like I said, I ordered one because I had a party, so I could be the hostess and get it at 60% off. Yay
Well, and
me.
let me remember your question because here's the thing, y'all. Right now, you don't even have to have a party to get it 60% off. They have it where consultants, because they want us to have it in our hands. So it's $119.60 if you buy it. Okay, so go ahead, Michelle.
And so I have made I take a boneless Boston pork roast, and I cook it in there to shred it. How big have either of you done that? And how big of a roast will the deluxe multi-cooker hold?
I'm gonna look and see on the little meat thing because with roast, with beef, or with
Pork.
pork, you said it was pork,
Uh-huh.
pork tenderloin. Um, it says 1.5 to 2 inches. I'm just looking. That was the sous vide one. Um,
I've done like up to about a
a
5.
whole tenderloin, 2 to 3 pounds is what this says. Um, 16 to 18 minutes if it's fresh or thawed. Now, I will say there is a recipe. This is Pampered Chef had a quick cooker, and then they took that and improved it, and then obviously made it so much more with all the other features that this one has. But there was a recipe for root beer ribs. I don't know, root beer ribs on the Pampered Chef website, and it calls for 1 rack of ribs. I have fit 2 racks of ribs in here. So if that gives you a perspective, because where
That
my boys
does
are,
that
huh?
does give me a perspective. Yeah,
So,
no,
and what I
no.
did is I took the racks of ribs and I kind of rolled them, and then I put
Mhm.
one in between, and then literally you put some barbecue rub or seasoning on, right? And then you put it's like a 12-ounce root beer. It's what the liquid is. And it kind of gives a sweetness. It doesn't taste like root beer, but they are some good fallen off the bone ribs. And my husband has a smoker and he smokes ribs really, really well. But that's like 3 or 4 hours. This is like 30 minutes. Like this is like, oh, ribs are on sale. I'm gonna come home and we're gonna have them tonight in like within the hour. Like so it's one of those things. There is oh, okay, let's see if this works now. There is a oh,
Ta-da.
so here's the thing. What I was noticing when it wasn't going, the lid was a little bit askew that first time. So I think that's what's causing an issue. And this time it's totally like flush around the edge. So I don't know if when I was doing it, I was just rushing too fast. And then,
Yeah.
so that's what normally happens. But there is on the inner pot, there is a extra one. There is a match, like a little fill line. So it shows half and then it has a 2/3. And basically even though my ribs are taller than that, like when they're around the edge, it's not like the capacity of the bowl is that much because the center is empty. And the reason is you need to have some room left in there to build pressure, right? If you have it full to the top, there's no room for pressure. So even though my ribs might be above that line, does that make sense? There's still empty space in there. So in your case, like if you had like maybe a 4-pound tenderloin or, as long as you put your cup and a half of liquid in and it's not above that line, I think you should be fine. Um, there is a recipe. I don't know if it's in this book or it might be in the quick cooker book, but I know it's on the website. It's a red lentil and spinach soup. It's a vegetarian soup, y'all. It is amazing. It's so good. It's one of my favorites. And I doubled it and put, so any other questions? Was this helpful? I hope this was helpful. And I hope that, and here's the thing. Brenda, you have yours, you've had yours for a while, it's in a box. Hopefully this has inspired you to pull it out. Or if you're one that maybe you've used it, but it's been a while. And I know Misty would have been on. Hey, Misty, we missed you. But she had a girls thing last night and she said, I'm definitely watching the replay. She wasn't sure what time they'd get back today. But she was talking about when we were messaging last week, she's like, I tend to use it more in the fall and the winter because in her mind, it's more soups and chilies and things like that. Although she does beans and other things too. But that's the thing too, where we can remind people like rice, we eat rice all year round, like, or mac and cheese, like barbecues in the summer. And the best thing about this too, it's kind of like the air fryer. It's not heating up your house in the summer or year round, right? Or even sometimes soups on the stove can get a little hot, right? What, Sheri?
Oh, I was just going through the comments and I just wanted to make sure that so Amy asks you to post the mac and cheese recipe.
Yeah. I'm
And
gonna make it a little note.
And then Tia thinks maybe we didn't have the lid seated right, but she also said that she felt like we didn't let it naturally release enough, that we could then it needed to naturally release for a few minutes before we press the release button. So she was wondering if that might have been the issue.
That's a good idea. Because there are some recipes that I've hit it right away. I think the ribs are one that you don't naturally release, but that's a good tip. That's a good point. I saw somebody say, Ariel, can, and I don't think so. I think that's one of the things that they said at conference. Did anybody else remember Tia or Sheri or Cheryl that were at conference?
What was the question?
Can. Like I know it has a sterilization, but I don't think it,
no.
I don't think it's canning. It's not in the book for sure.
It's not. Somebody did ask that, and I've done some canning, and you can't can in that. That's not. This is not the right tool for that.
Yeah, and Sandra says the chili recipe is awesome. Yes, I use our chili packets in this a lot.
So the chili recipe means just making the chili. Like I make that chili almost every week. So I've never thought about making it in the pressure cooker before. That sounds really good.
Yeah. Yeah. So here's my perfectly cooked chicken now with lots of broth in there. So I may have to run to the store. And of course, this is how I like to do when I have extra chicken like this, because this is one that's easy to put in. I can season it up with some Southwestern seasoning or Chipotle, put it in a taco, put it in a wrap, or Italian seasoning, put a little marinara sauce in there. All right. Well, I think that's all, unless anybody has any other questions. And I hope y'all are excited, because here's the thing. With this sale, even though you don't have a multi-cooker at your house, don't be afraid to talk about it. And even, you can talk about it like, I'm so excited it's on sale. I can't wait to get this myself because of X, Y, or Z, right? Or if you have a friend that lives near you that has one, maybe borrow, to make a life. Any other questions? Anything?
And one of my favorite things to do in the pressure cooker, and it sounds crazy, is I cook my ground beef, my frozen ground beef. I buy it in the little 1 pound chubs, those little tubes, and I take it out and put it on a rack. I've done 2 pounds at a time up to that. And I put a cup of water in. It does take about 30 minutes because it's frozen, but I walk away and I don't do anything.
It browns your ground beef?
It doesn't brown it. So it's great for when I'm making tacos or spaghetti or something like that I'm gonna, and because then I take it out, put it in a bowl and use my mixing chopper and chop it all up, and it's perfectly cooked.
But it's cooked. It cooks it.
Yeah.
How many minutes?
Super easy. 30.
You
Okay, so
set
you
it for 30 or it just takes 30 with the coming to pressure and stuff?
I set it for 30. But it's frozen. Like it
Right,
is, I take it from the
right.
freezer, take it out of the tub, put it in there. And it's super easy. And that way I can just walk away and do other things and not make a mess. I do
Now, I
that
will
all the
say on
time.
the chart, I just looked up on the chart because I've never done that before. The chart says 12 to 14 minutes. But if
Okay.
you have two of them in there, that's just
Yeah.
for, it says 1 to 2 pounds.
Okay.
I have never
I'll
even
have to
thought
try
about
it.
that, but when you're doing a lot, that's a good tip.
Yeah, I do it that way all the time because it doesn't make a mess. My house doesn't smell, your kitchen doesn't smell. I
Yeah.
just
yeah.
walk away and do other things.
And the nice thing about this, I will say, when you're being able to go from frozen and pressure cooking, I don't know that you can technically burn something, but let me just say when I was talking earlier about um, letting it warm and the eggs are like a 5 minute natural release. Now, kind of just giving a friend's example, totally me. I had put my boiled eggs in 5 minutes. The plan was to be right there so I could hear it, natural release for 5 minutes while I got sidetracked, either with laundry or down, whatever. I came back, those eggs were kept warm for like 35 minutes. Wow, they weren't the best boiled eggs.
No,
The thing is, they were boiled, but the shells were kind of brown. The egg whites were kind of brown. I mean, I
I've done
still
that.
ate some of them. My boys wouldn't eat them because they looked different and they didn't taste the
Yeah.
same. They didn't taste as good, but I was not going to throw away 18 eggs because that was back when they were more expensive than they are now. I was like, that's a big expensive mistake. So maybe take your little alarm or set your alarm on your phone or something if you're going to walk away because you can technically over natural release on some things. But I think for most things like meats and things, I don't know.
It won't hurt
Again,
it.
yeah. So it's
But yeah,
almost
I've done the egg issue. That's the only issue I'm aware of because I get busy and distracted all the time when using my pressure cooker. It's never been an issue except for boiled eggs because it keeps it on warm, and I think that warm setting is a little too high for an
for
egg,
for the
and the
eggs.
eggs turn brown and
Right,
they kind of taste weird. Yeah.
right, right.
5, 5, and 5, right, Christy, on the eggs?
5, 5, and 5 is what I do. And the thing is, I swear to goodness, I could pull out my quick cooker book, but I think the quick cooker book said 5 because I'm like, that's how I started doing it. And then when this came and it automatically said 12 or whatever it says, I'm like, well, that's not right. And so I would go down to 5. And then I even had friends like on my online community, they're like, why does this say in 12? Like, why always done 5? Or I'm like, just do 5. Override it. That's why you have that option to adjust. Yeah. So yeah, definitely
Um,
let them know that.
I have a question for the gal who said she makes the chili because like I say, I make that every week. Um, so are you putting like the ground beef or whatever ground meat in and then all the ingredients and then are you setting it for the 12 minutes? Because I want to try that. Okay, Sandra, thank you. She said yes. Okay, so you throw everything in there. Yeah, if you guys haven't made the chili with the chili mix, I highly recommend that. And it's so good. It's really good. And I make it in my wok, but I'm definitely gonna use this guy next time because a lot easier.
Yeah. And just a kind of side note, we're done here, but just side note, like I got it to the egg, I put it on 5, and I just instead of like pushing, because I knew the settings were all right for what I wanted. If you just hold it, it'll just go to run. And then because the chicken, and I don't know if you noticed this either, but the chicken came to pressure a lot quicker the second time around because it was already hot. And this, even though it's a different pan, it's already warmed up, so it shouldn't take that long to come under pressure for the egg. So, yeah. All right, well, girls, have a fantastic rest of your weekend and Happy New Year. The next time we
Happy
see
New
each other.
Year.
Oh, two more things. On Tuesday the 2nd, we are going to have a Zoom call, kind of like all about January, just to kind of talk about because we don't want to wait till our live event, which the in-person event we'll do on the 9th. So there's more details about that coming. But the other thing I wanted to mention as we were leaving here, I set up a party. Like I have one hosted party that's starting right now. And I thought I'm gonna go ahead and create one for our team. And it's one of those things where if you want to join, you're welcome to join. I will make a post here. I had one in my personal team group. I'll put a post here, but I'm going to run this party. This is not for customers. This is only consultants. This is only for if you want to check out to see how somebody else is running their party. I do the party with table, and I basically use that same Google form that we shared back in August, September when the new season was coming out. But over time, like I always try to encourage people over time, figure out what's working for you, figure out maybe what you want to add or tweak. Or I'd go to the table webinars and then I'd learn a little something, I'd add something else in there. So if you want to just join, I would love y'all to comment and interact as if you're customers, but do not invite customers. So this is basically a training party. And it's even called Let's Go Back Org. I don't even know if it's called training party, but I pretty much did like the cover photos, what I used. All the posting is going to be what I normally do. Here's the thing. When you join table, you can use a fake number. You can use a made up email address. I'd actually prefer you to do that because I just want y'all to be able to experience it. And then anything that I would normally text the people in the party, I'll just make a post in the group saying, hey, here's what I would text people. And honestly, I'm still working that part out. Like, I don't necessarily do daily text to people that join table because I just haven't gotten that figured out yet. And I'm interacting with them on Facebook, right? There have been some times where people that aren't on the Facebook group do join table because it's a great way when the host is sharing her link, because the only link I give the host or have in the party is the table link. I have people join the table that aren't in Facebook. Now, those people I might text more than, just that welcome text. But it's not like it's an everyday thing, and it's not like it's a scripted thing. It's like if Michelle joins, I might be like, hey, Michelle, how do you know Sheri, our host, or something like that, because I'm just trying to get to know her. And it's very just an authentic conversation with a person. Now, I might get to the point where I do more guest coaching is what they call it, the people that are just all on table, but I don't do that yet. So it's not like you're going to be missing out on anything if you just give a bogus phone number. Maybe even give like a 555 area code and then just your regular phone number. So that way it's not like everybody's using the same 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 or whatever. So make sense? Okay. I'm going to be posting about that here soon. And hopefully y'all can join. We can party together this week. All right. Bye for now, friends.
Thanks.